2, and we are live. Okay, welcome to the first episode of the Entrepreneur Codes. I have my good friend here with me, Tyler.
Howdy.
The video game assassin, FBA expert. So, Tyler, did you want to tell them a little bit about yourself before I dig into your soul?
Howdy, folks, or whatever you folks that are watching this call yourselves. I'm Tyler Nelson. I make my living by selling on Amazon full-time, and I have a few other side hustles, such as Merch by Amazon, Mercari. I've started a coaching service for helping other sellers accomplish things, such as purchasing inventory on eBay or flipping textbooks from Amazon to Amazon. I recently moved to Wisconsin. I had been living for 5 or 6 years in Alaska, and the reason I moved is because there was a lack of stores up there and shipping was expensive. What I save in shipping here in Wisconsin is paying my rent, and I get a much nicer place for the money that I have.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that. So you sell on multiple platforms, primarily Amazon.
98% FBA.
98%. Okay. So I guess first question everyone's probably going to want to know is what got you started into FBA as a wee lad?
Okay. Well, I got started back in the day with merchant fulfillment. They did have FBA at the time, but I didn't get into it until February. I sent my first FBA shipment off in February of 2013. It was a bunch of books. But what got me into selling on Amazon was I was 17. This is before Amazon required age verification and whatnot. I didn't have to enter my social or anything until after I'd hit 18 because I had a certain sales threshold at that point. Yeah. But I had some video games that I bought, and my mother didn't approve of them, so she wanted me to get rid of them. So I sold them on it. I sold some of them on Amazon. I kept some of them.
You kept the naughty ones.
No, they weren't naughty. It was just like World War II kind of stuff. World War II, things like that. Yeah. No, I had a PS2, so there wasn't anything really bad. It wasn't like GTA 5. They didn't have GTA 5 back then.
Yeah. But the Grand Theft Auto series was going on killing.
I think GTA 3 that was out for the PS2 at the time. But this was back in 2011.
That was actually a good game, you know.
I've only played 5.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I haven't played GTA in a minute, but definitely when it came out, everyone was hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, to this day, it's honestly.
Yeah, so I've been playing much games lately. I've been busy.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
It is.
You went from playing games to selling them. You can't be mad at that. So I guess you would say started in 13?
I FBA'd for the first time in 2013, but I left my job in 2000, or maybe it was 2014 that I started. It was I don't know. It was a long time ago when I started with FBA. It's all been kind of a blur.
So you say you got 2 years totally full time?
Well, I left my job at Value Village in end of 2012. They're like, "Why are you leaving your job? I mean, it's around Christmas time." I'm like, I make money other places. They're like, what other places? I'm like, I'll tell you after I quit.
Right. They're probably like, guy, you're not making any money here. You're Value Village's property.
And then I came in because I was pricing the books there. I came in and like a week after I quit, and so then I spent I think $200 or $300 on textbooks, and I made over $1,000.
Wow! So you didn't even tell them what you were doing until
I didn't tell them what I told the lady that had been my boss when I worked in another department because she was all cool and chill, but really no one else got told.
Gotcha. It makes sense. I mean, you had a what we call an unfair advantage.
Yeah, it would have been a conflict of interest for me to. Hey, I'm going to go price these books and then I'm going to go scan them for resale.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that because you had the smarts to actually put the two together to realize that it was an arbitrage opportunity. So
yeah. Well, I'd seen other people doing it. I'm like, I bet I can do it better than them. They were using the old A-Seller tool PDAs.
Ooh, sheesh. Yeah,
I'm like, I have a 4G smartphone. I can look at things live. This one guy was like, yeah, I haven't updated my PDA in 3 months.
Wow. So the price fluctuation was up and down. He could have brought up the total dud.
Yeah. Or be passing on gold.
Yep, that's true too. So now, I guess, do you feel that there's still money in books. When you go
Oh,
through
absolutely.
forums, people, yeah.
I've sold more books than I can count lately. Things that I've purchased on Amazon from merchant fulfilled sellers, and then I then ship in. And by doing an analysis beforehand, before I actually buy, I can see if it's possible to make money just by getting the used buy box. And there are products that I can get for $2 plus shipping that I can sell for 25. Or other similar things, pay 30, sell for 90, pay 50, sell for 120. Yesterday I sold a textbook for $240 that I bought for $135 plus shipping from a merchant fulfilled seller. It took only a week to sell. It would have sold a lot quicker if there hadn't been someone that came in between me buying it and getting it to FBA. Someone came in with an acceptable copy at $140. If it was in good condition, I just would have bought it. But I really don't deal with acceptable books. They even said that it was heavily water damaged in the description.
Dead giveaway, no.
Yeah.
So now, I guess a lot of people are probably thinking, you got so much going on, you're doing books. We didn't even get into the video games yet.
Yeah.
Do you feel as though FBA is dead, or do you think it's live, coming? Because so many sellers entering the market, and then you got the market saturation. What's your view on where it's going?
FBA, if you know what you're doing, can only get better. While there are always going to be new sellers coming in, there's also going to be sellers that get frustrated and leave. Every single day I see sellers messaging me or commenting or posting about how they just can't seem to find anything. And then I fire up OA X-ray, and in 15 minutes I can spend $500 on eBay. And another thing that people just don't realize is that more and more people are shopping online. More and more people are signing up for Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime is like the ultimate like loyalty club. Yeah. Folks that have Amazon Prime and look on Amazon first I heard it was like there's like a 10% chance that they'll take their money somewhere else. Whereas if they start at Target, they're less likely to spend money on Amazon than on Target. But even if they start at Target, they sometimes end up on Amazon.
Yeah, that's true.
It also all depends on what you're doing. Like back in the day with merchant fulfillment, I could sell certain things faster than I'm selling them with FBA now, just because there were fewer sellers.
Gotcha.
But there's more people buying stuff. More people buying seasonal things, or buying stuff just because they want to have it in 2 days or 1 day, or even the same day if they're in certain markets. I've sold items, and then the next day I get a delivery saying, I get a feedback saying delivered in 2 hours. Awesome job. And, wow. Well, that's not my fault, but I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, you'll take it, right?
I mean, I've heard in some places you can even order produce and Amazon will deliver it.
Well, I'm guessing that's if you're near a fulfillment center.
Yeah, it's a thing that they're doing in big cities.
Okay, yeah, that would be handy in like New York,
the Bay Area, things like that. Yeah. And now they're doing some other stuff. Like I was on a hangout with a guy last night with a coaching session, and beforehand, this guy works for FedEx, and
he has insight.
He says they hardly do any. He's in a big city. It's down in I think it's Phoenix or something like that.
Okay.
And there's a warehouse in Phoenix, but he said that most of the packages in the city are being delivered by Amazon employees or contractors that drive Amazon trucks. Right. And on the day before Mother's Day or something, they went to this cupcake place to get cupcakes. Mm-hmm. And there were all these Amazon drivers that were hustling in and out that Amazon had partnered with the bakery to deliver same-day cupcakes.
Wow, that's smart. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So Amazon is some of their new things are kind of like Uber for products.
Yep. Yeah. And I see that. I see Amazon slowly going that way. I mean, it seems like Bezos is taking over everything secretly. I don't know if this is going to come into fruition. I've been reading the guy's book. I think his next big thing is going to be migrating people from where you'll be able to purchase a flight on Amazon. So go book a trip, purchase a flight. Everything is done through Amazon.
They would be competing with, say, Groupon for that.
They would. But I mean, you got to think. Bezos is a guy that doesn't care about anything. Like he's like, hey, if Amazon doesn't have it, we're going to have it, and we don't mind competing. This guy's a winner. I'm not going to lie, he's a winner.
Yeah, you can already buy. You can already get a credit card on Amazon.
Yeah,
I signed up for my Amex Gold business card through Amazon.
it's crazy. It's
Well, I went through a portal from Amazon to American Express with it. Yeah, it was really cool. I got to compare, this, that. I'm like, I want that. That looks cool, but that looks better. And
yep.
so I got my Amex Gold business card through from Amazon, and then Amazon gets some affiliate money or something like that.
Yeah, it's actually genius. Even down to the FBA program.
Yeah, because people have become
another question for you. Yeah, that's true too.
I mean, I don't buy stuff now if it's not Prime. If it's not Prime, I just buy it on eBay.
True. So now, do you feel like since you don't sell on eBay, right?
I've sold a few things, but I sold a lot last year, like DVDs and media and whatnot. But it takes time to ship the individual orders, and I have nothing wrong with that, except for the fact that I'm not a big fan of doing that.
Rick's smarter now.
Like for some stuff, I've been printing off labels with like Mercari, and then my guy, I'll just have him actually package it up. Okay.
So now explain Mercari. What's the difference between Mercari and eBay and Amazon?
Okay. Amazon it's mostly big merchants. And eBay, with both eBay and Amazon, you're searching for stuff. I want to buy Shopkins, or I want to buy Doctor Who, or I want to buy a T-shirt. Whereas with Mercari, while you can search for things, it's I don't know. It's kind of like a Tinder for products. Good
way to put it. There, you pick up some stuff, pick up some ladies.
Yeah. Instead of just having, I've never used the app. So I think you swipe left or right or something like that. But with Mercari, there's like 6 or 8 products on the screen, and you can scroll up and down to look at other products. You can swipe left and right to go to various categories. There's clothing and kid stuff and electronics and sporting goods and collectibles, and then you can scroll through. And while you can search, it seems like most of it I found, a lot of the selling is people searching not for a specific product, but for like a specific brand. Because you can enter stuff into the title, which people can search things, and it goes based upon the title. But they also have collections for brands such as Apple or Nike or Sony or various things.
So you feel as though they segment it better than eBay would.
It's optimized for mobile.
Yep. Okay.
There's no fees for selling. You can either pay the shipping out of the cost of the item, or you can have the buyer pay shipping, and then Mercari sends you a label. And I believe that's where they're making their money, because they're charging like $4 for an item that's 8 ounces or less. So for me to ship that is like $3 via the postal service, but they have some sort of bulk discount set up. So I'm guessing they're paying $1.50 or $2. So they're making like $2 off that sale. And with the thousands upon thousands of sales, that's where they're making their money.
So it's free to sell. There's no Mercari fee similar to the Amazon fee, or
there's no referral fees or anything like that. Yeah, it has a lot of potential.
Yep, I see. Now, do you think they'll keep it that way? I know a lot of platforms change where you'll see one day they're free and then boom, fee.
It's currently in the beta phase, so they say that with the beta it's commission free. I don't know how that'll change.
Right.
But everything is in whole dollar amounts. Okay. You can if let's say you sell something, you can use that money to buy stuff. Then you don't have to disperse it to a bank account.
Gotcha. It's easier to flip things.
Yeah. So they're keeping people on the system.
Yep.
So they often, you buy something from someone that charges shipping, and then they buy something from someone that charges shipping. It seems to be targeted more at like the Craigslist and OfferUp sort of crowd.
Right.
Most of the sellers are individuals. And they're not. You're supposed to have a photo of the actual item, but there are a lot of sellers that are using stock photos and whatnot. And I'm not the tattletale type, but I like getting rid of my competition, so I will report those. Because they'll have like 1,000 listings, and they'll have like 100 listings of the same of the same 10 things or something. No, they'll have 10 listings of like 1,000 different things, 10,000 total listings. I don't know how they keep track of it because it's all cell phone based.
Right.
unless they have some sort of backdoor API or something to it, which I don't think they do. But yeah, some people just aren't very ethical with it. They're not supposed to use stock photos. They're only supposed to have one listing per thing. And when I see that you have that same thing listed 7 times, I report it because.
So how do you go against counterfeit? Or let's say you buy something and you want a refund. Is that handled all through Mercari as well?
Yeah. You can. There's a system for rating the seller, and once you rate them, you have no recourse. But if you have a problem, you can open a ticket, and they're really quick with dealing with it. I actually opened a ticket as a seller when the person didn't get it. The tracking just wasn't ever scanned by the post office, and I know I shipped it, so it was like a $5 Blu-ray. So I'm like, hey, can you folks give this person a refund? And in less than an hour, they gave the person a refund. So they're a lot faster at responding to messages than Amazon seller support is.
Yep.
I've been waiting a month for an answer from them.
For seller support?
Yeah, about something that sold in December.
Jeez. Yeah, that's the thing. Seller support is kind of slow. And then depending on where your call gets routed, some of their English is poor.
Yeah. Although yesterday, 2 days ago, I opened up a case for 2 items. One was worth $30. One is worth $40. I had them recalled because they were selling kind of slowly. And I'm like, well, I just want to get my money back from these items. Well, I actually make a little bit because I got them dirt cheap back in 2015, and they still haven't sold. But one of them had damage to the shrink wrap, and one of them was bouncing around loose inside the case. They were both 360 games. I opened up a case with photos. Like, those photos aren't good enough. Can you get us some better ones? So I took better angle photos of the shrink wrap. I didn't send any more photos for the one with where the disc was loose inside because that can't be photographed. Right. I had an eBay seller ask for a photograph of that yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. Just send me the refund or send me a label. Right. But for the item that was worth $40, Amazon reimbursed me $46, and for the one worth $30, they reimbursed me $31. Now, I got some really good reimbursements from Amazon.
Was this warehouse damage?
It was damaged while in shipping to me, they said.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Outbound damage or something they called it.
Right, so they'll reimburse you. Because I know you got to kind of read between you got to read that fine print as far as refunding with Amazon. To my knowledge, I think if it's customer damage, then you're just taking the loss on that one.
For the most part. I've had games that come back scratched or where there's no disc inside, and they've refunded me for those.
Okay.
I mean, I can sell it as used as long as they didn't steal the disc.
Right, that's true. So now, since you've been selling on Amazon full time, you're all the way in, fully committed. As you look back, what do you think some of the things that a newbie seller should know or should primarily focus on?
One thing is everyone gets caught up in, hey, what tools do I need? Yep. What label printers and what fancy doodads do I need? You don't need much to get started selling on Amazon. If you want to do RA, you need a smartphone. You don't need a second one. You don't need a tablet. You don't need any.
That has it all.
You just need one smartphone. You don't need any fancy apps. Right now, Scan Power is free, which is wonderful for clothing and shoes. As with the Amazon Seller app, it doesn't tell you the rank for clothing and shoes. The Amazon Seller app, though, is really all you need for normal stuff. I hit up 4 Walmarts the other night. I didn't use Scan Power once because I didn't do anything with clothing or shoes. You need tape, you need a scale, you need a box cutter, and you need a computer. And maybe a laser. And a laser printer would be nice too, but you don't have to have one. Because with this business, there's always stuff that needs to be printed off, like return labels with eBay and whatnot that can't be done with, a Zebra or a Dymo. A Zebra and a Dymo can wait. I just got a Dymo last week and a Zebra that came in today.
So you tell me that this whole time you were printing 30 ups?
Yeah.
Whew, you're a good man.
I mean, the only thing with 30 ups is you have this. The sheets create kind of a mess, when they're empty and whatnot. But so do the Dymo labels. I was actually sent to Dymo by someone, a really really nice guy. He sent me a heat gun. and a few other trinkets. So
Man, that's wild.
when we meet up at ASD, drinks are on me with that. But and then I bought the Zebra because I wanted something that I could print the shipping labels with. Because I've been doing just a normal printer paper for it, but with some of the road trips I'm going to be taking this summer, I'm going to be going to spending a week in New Hampshire, and I'm going to take 3 days to get there and 3 days to get back. It's like an 18 or 19-hour drive, but I'm going to stretch it over 3 days each way so I can do RA through Indiana and Ohio and Pennsylvania, some rural Vermont. I planned it out with a there. If you just Google print calendar, there's like printacalendar.com or something like that, and you can print calendars for a month. And with that, what I've been doing lately is I'm going to do this on this day, that on that day. It's just wonderful for planning things. And what I've even planned so far out is I'm not leaving until next Thursday or Friday. I've already planned where I'm going to stay each night. I found cities that are big enough to have hotwire.com and are spaced somewhat evenly out. And I'll be staying in different cities and taking a different route to get back.
So you're telling me that you can pretty much go on vacation, still do RA, and make your vacation money back while you're on vacation.
Exactly. Oh, this vacation is dirt cheap as I'm camping, but and then I'm planning another road trip. Assuming the conference in Dallas, the one-day OA conference, doesn't get canceled, that is like 3 or 4 days after ASD in Vegas. And my minivan doesn't have Chrysler Town and Countries can pull trailers, but they cook transmissions when you do that. So what I want to do is buy something with a V8, and if I buy a vehicle down in Vegas, down south, I mean, it will have never seen I've never seen a Wisconsin winter. And I can drive from ASD, do RA all the way to Dallas, ship from Dallas, unless I fill it up beforehand, or if I'd have a trailer, or if it has a trailer hitch, I could always rent a U-Haul trailer for like $50 a day, and then go to the conference in Dallas, and then do RA all the way back to Wisconsin.
Now
that's why I want the label printers.
They're going to be essential for you.
Exactly, for while I'm on the road. But I have no problem with 30 ups being used in printer paper because I'm not even doing the shipping from here from Wisconsin. I'll stick
tell us a little bit more about that process for you now.
But
the prep guy that you had.
Yeah, the guy that works for me as an independent contractor is a friend of a friend. I'm really good friends with this family that went to my church back in Chippewa Falls, and I moved back. And then I was talked into going to the Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference by Travis Ross like a week beforehand. I'm like, I will go if I can find a house sitter. I don't like having to put mail on hold or whatnot. And the guy that ended up being a house sitter is actually the guy that also works for me now. He has a master's degree in international business, but he's out of work because he wants to get a job internationally. He wants to work in the UK or Singapore or Hong Kong or something like that.
Gotcha.
So this guy, he makes fewer mistakes with shipping than I do. He's extremely organized. My garage was a complete mess. I don't know if you'd seen any photos of it, but now it's all nice and pretty, and there's like everything's nice and on shelves or on tables or in boxes. I have shelves and tables in my garage, but I can still park my vehicle inside if I want.
So this guy came in like a whirlwind, straightened up everything, shipping machine. Yeah.
And while I was gone in Denver, I'm like, hey, there's some pizza and some beer in the fridge. Here's my Xbox. You can play games. You can watch Amazon Prime Video. You can watch Netflix. And I got home and like the entire main floor was all nice and pretty and clean.
Wow. So not only does he ship your stuff, he cleans your house.
Well, that's the only time he's cleaned outside of the garage. But he just has such an attention to detail. I had started off paying him $10 an hour. I gave him a raise of $12 an hour. Every day that he's over here, I'll feed him lunch. On days that he drives me around, I'll pay him extra. Because there have been a few days.
Chauffeur too.
What?
You just chauffeur too.
Yeah. If I'm just too tired to drive, if I stayed up all night doing RA, or when I had some engine problems this week, It turned out not to be the engine, but the AC compressor. But if the AC was on and I was pressed and I'd have the gas on, it would make sparks. It turned out, and it would make the engine sound like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Or when I lost my car keys, he drove me around. But he also has a minivan, so it's great for running to the UPS store. And now, while I'll be gone down for Dallas and Vegas and going to New Hampshire, as he's unemployed, he said he'll be able to house sit. I'll pay him like $20 a day to show up for house sitting, plus $12 an hour for every hour he works. So I'll have stuff coming in with OA, and he'll be shipping it out.
So now, what's your process for actually teaching him? For anyone that's pretty much already doing RA or looking to get a prepper, because it's cheaper.
Everything, I guess, hands-on. I started out with just having him take off stickers, bubble wrap, and poly bag, and put on stickers. And then, well, he did that. Then I showed him how to pack boxes. Then I showed him how to create listings. And then the way I do it is I don't like having it created as an FBA listing. I have it created as an MF listing because a few things I will MF before if I can MF them fast enough.
Gotcha.
So then he'll create the MF listing. He converts them to FBA. He enters the numbers in, and because I'm not using Inventory Lab due to the whole textbook thing and buying a bunch of the same thing from different sellers on eBay, it would make the putting in cost of goods sold per shipment really, really annoying.
Yeah.
So are you using Inventory Lab?
I was using it, but then since I switched over to PL, I was like,
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's the same. It gets coming down to the same items over and over again. So.
Yeah. But now he can do everything. Like the other day, he was putting together shipments while I took a nap.
Oh, so now the question: how do you? I guess many people are probably saying, how do you calculate your P&L? Because if you're in business, it seems like a lot of people are in business, but they're not really doing business. You see, they don't know if they're positive in the cash flow. They just know, hey, I'm spending money. Amazon spitting out money.
If you'd ask me how much money I'm making, I can't honestly tell you, as I need to get some accounting.
So you're in business, but you're not doing business.
I've just been so busy to sit. What I'm going to do, this guy, he has an undergrad in accounting. He's not a certified CPA, but what I'm going to have him do while I'm gone is have him sit down, like if he's done shipping or if there's not enough to ship, I'll have him sit down and be putting stuff into Microsoft Excel or a Google Sheet or something like that.
So it sounds like this guy is your number one asset right now.
He is. He's wonderful. I mean, I've given him the raise of $12 an hour, so he's not starving. I mean, he's living with his dad. But then this week, because he's just been a wonderful asset, and I'm planning on going on vacation with Chris Anderson to Costa Rica.
You guys are going to Costa Rica?
We can go for less than $1,000 or with Groupon. So I'm like, if we right now I'm at around $34 with the rolling, not 34,000 with the rolling 30 days. And I told Sam, the guy that does the work, if we can get to 50K, I'll take him to Costa Rica or wherever we end up going on vacation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said, listen, man, if you can get this done, we're going to Costa Rica and living it up.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on actually turning him into a partner since he's such an asset? Do you think?
I haven't given it much thought, but if I'd ever get into PL and I'd have him go into China or something like that, that may be a separate business entity or something.
Right.
But just with the whole arbitrage, all he's doing is packing and shipping and other miscellaneous tasks. Nothing with the sourcing of inventory.
Right. So has he inquired about it? Like, where's all these things coming from? Or
he asks questions about why things are what they are, but I don't think he's interested in getting into the whole arbitrage of it. And he wants to get a full-time job abroad.
Gotcha.
So he's been applying for other stuff around here. He's been turned down for several accounting positions because he was overqualified. He has a master's degree.
Oh, right. Yeah. But he's making $12 an hour.
Yeah, I mean, although I told him if he's still unemployed come like November and December, he's going to be getting full-time work. But he's like, I don't want to be unemployed by then.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that he'll get a job and that I'll either have to find someone else or go back to doing things myself. I mean, as selfish as it would be to have him work, I mean, he's a wonderful worker. He could be making a lot more money for like a company,
Right. Yeah.
doing something with the international business and combined with his accounting background.
I mean, Tyler, you got to give the man an opportunity to grow.
Yeah,
Let
that's
let him taste the FBA life. He already knows how to package it.
uh, but if he needs any letters of recommendation or any references, he's going to get a kick-ass reference. I want to see, because his dream is to, well, he has a girlfriend who's living in Singapore. So he would, I know he would love to be able to move over there and actually be with her.
Yeah. Okay.
But the problem with that is it's a visa issue.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping, because he's 25 years old. I'm sure he has student loans.
Yeah.
I really want to see him do something more than what he's currently doing. He's really, really smart and has a wonderful attention to detail. But I mean, he has potential far beyond FBA.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be brokering, multi-million-dollar deals and stuff like that.
That's true.
He's really, really sharp.
Now, you've worked your way up to a prep guy. However, you didn't get a prep guy till what, 2 years in?
2 months?
2 months.
2 months ago. Yeah, so I've been doing this for years.
But it took you 2 years. You didn't just start FBA and say, hey, now I'm hiring a prep.
No.
Right.
So it got to the point where I was just working. I was working myself ragged. I was working like 70 hours a week when you combine the prepping, because all the little tedious stuff like bubble wrapping and polybagging and stickering, especially with clothing, things like T-shirts and whatnot. Combine that with the sourcing and the whole Facebook thing. I wasn't happy.
Right. That's what you're in it for, right? Free.
Yeah, I want to be financially free, and I want to be happy while doing so.
I'm with you. So now, a lot of people are saying, or probably thinking, hey, some people think this is a scam, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can't fathom that you can buy something from Walmart who's selling something and then resell it online. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what would you say to someone that came up to you and said, hey, man, what do you do? Or if they're saying, hey, what you do is a scam, how would you break it out to someone? How would you break it down to someone that's totally oblivious?
Well, I mean, I could show them the money.
That's true, too.
I'm like, hey, my vehicle's paid for. My rent is paid every month. I'm living comfortably. Behind me, I have this big, massive 55-inch TV that is paid for. I have this nice leather couch. I mean, I'm living a comfortable life, and I'm able to make my own schedule. But no, if let's say I'm in Walmart, I've been asked, like, why are you spending $1,000? I'm like, this stuff is cheap.
Right.
I've scanned like cashiers are like, this doesn't add up. So there's an item that's $5. I scan it. This is $20. They're like, oh, I see. All I do is I take advantage of the discrepancies between the prices of a product between different markets. That is the definition of arbitrage.
That is true.
Yeah.
Now, I guess what items are you looking for? Because there's a lot of people that come to me and say, Darrell, you speak about retail arbitrage. I just can't seem to find anything.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you pinpoint, say, that's what I'm looking for? How do you eliminate staying into a Walmart for 6 hours?
Well, with Walmart, there are two things that I look for. I look for discontinued video games or marked down video games, because I love video games. They're nice and easy. And then I look for clearance tags. Almost everything else that I buy at Walmart is clearance. And what I look to do is I've gotten really good at just scanning the original price and what it is. Or sometimes it won't have the original price, and so I just got to guesstimate in my head, hey, what is that originally MSRP for? And what I want to do is look for things that are usually at least 50% off. So I've been able to find things for $1 that retail for $18 at Walmart, or retail for $12 or $9. I bought 124 of some General Electric CFL light bulb for $1 a piece. It was 2 carts of light bulbs, and then they were selling for 11 each. There was a little bit of a race to the bottom where it got down to about $8, but once it got to $8, Amazon just gave me the buy box like 80% of the time, even though there were like 7 other sellers, and I sold 30 light bulbs in 4 days. Well, 30 boxes of light bulbs in 4 days.
Now, are you looking for, what's your primary strategy? Are you looking for, hey, I want to make $5 off of this? Are you looking for, can I get a 30% margin? What's your qualifications of an item that's worth your time pretty much?
With the cheap stuff, in most cases, I want to make $3 or $4 or $5. There are some things that I'll buy for $1 that I'll sell for $7 or for $6 or $7, and I'll make $2. But there's things that sell really, really fast. Like there were these cedar wraps in the garden sections that like you soak them in water, and then you put meat around them, and then you put it on the grill, and you get like some cedar infused into it. I was paying $1 for them, selling them for $6.50. But some people were buying like 8 at a time from me. So I was making a profit on all of them. I couldn't keep them in stock. Or with other things though, I mean, I'm taking stuff as low as like 30 or 35% just because things, and these are higher priced items, but they'll sell crazy fast.
So what's your qualifications on selling crazy fast? So if you're coming in to Walmart, you got your handy dandy scanner here, and you're saying, hey, you do the seller app, and it doesn't tell you how fast it's going to sell. How do you know, hey, this will sell in a week? This will sit for 2 weeks.
It's largely about rank combined with the number of FBA competitors. Okay. So many people are like, oh, that video game or that item has 150 sellers. I am not going to touch that.
Right.
I'm like, click on FBA sellers. Okay. How many FBA sellers have the price of the current buy box? 4, and that item's selling five a day. So you're going to sell that item once a day if you don't have any new competitors coming in, assuming that there's even buy box rotation. And once a day that's the definition of a quick flip.
Quick flip, right.
That's my definition of a quick flip, is once a day, once factoring competition. Now, of course, I break my own rules all the time.
Don't we all, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of gray area in all of this. There's a lot of room for leeway.
Right.
But like there's this one item, and it's commonly known. It's this 2 terabyte external hard drive, and they were selling for $115. I was buying them for $60. The price has gone down to $100, and I bought some for $70. That doesn't sound like there's a lot of room in there, but with this item, there's only $10 in fees. 10 or 12 bucks in fees. So okay. I'm still making like $18, and they're selling within 5, 10, 15 minutes, usually not more than an hour of hitting the warehouse.
Wow.
So it's crazy, insanely fast. I haven't had any returns with them. I sold like 40 of them.
So you're totally turning.
Yeah, I find them at almost every single Walmart, or unless another seller's been there, because this item and a bunch of other items have been on electronic clearance at every single Walmart, and it's like I can tell that, hey, a seller was here, but they skipped the garden, and they skipped the kitchen, and they didn't look at the video games.
Yeah, they came straight for the good stuff.
Yeah, and these are in rural towns where people aren't buying all these external hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got a full cart of external hard drives and routers and speakers at this one Walmart, then over $1,000, and they're like, "What's this for?"
Right.
Like, I sell it on Amazon, and this is a town of 3,500 people that it smells, depending on how the wind was going that day, it either smelled of turkey or cattle manure. Just in southern Minnesota. I mean, it was almost south into Iowa.
Right.
And
so they definitely weren't buying any external hard drives down there.
No, and this Walmart was smaller than a Shopko, which you don't have Shopko by you, but this place, for normally the video game section has like 6 or 7 or 10 panels, glass panels, right?
Mm-hmm.
This had 3.
Jeez. Yeah, that's a small one.
This place was microscopic. They had 6 registers.
So when you made that $1,000 purchase, that probably went down in their history.
Yeah. And I asked. They had a bunch of video games on clearance back in the toy section, which the toy section was next to the garden section, which you don't always see.
Oh, cool.
And I asked if they could do $5 a unit for all of them, and they're like, "Well, if for all of them, I don't know if you could handle that." Not knowing I was a seller, they thought I was some crazy person.
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, we have 10 times that in the back." I'm like, "Wonderful."
Wow.
And the lady had to call her boss, and her boss wasn't able to approve the purchase because they didn't have the markdown dollars or discount dollars. But I gave them my info, and I'm like, hey, I live 4 hours away in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, but if you make the phone call that you can give me the $5 for all those games, I will drive.
Right, right.
Or I will send someone.
To come pick them up, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
now, with a purchase like that, how would you, I guess, go through the inventory and say, okay, well, these are winners, or are you going on based off of volume? There's enough volume there that you figure, hey, I can't lose.
These were things like Mario titles and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and a lot of titles selling for $15 or $20, but they wanted $15 or $20 for all of them.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I mean, and yeah, I mean, there are some Walmart clearance games, like what is it? The Black Eyed Peas experience for Wii. I mean, they want $5 for it. It's selling for about that on Amazon.
Yeah. Right.
If I get some of those, I'd probably put them on Mercari. But
so then, I guess you've been in the game long enough. What are some titles for people? Let's say, hey, I've listened to this interview with the FBA video game assassin. Tyler,
I like that video game assassin.
What titles should they be looking for if they're just hopping in Walmart with the kiddies and they're like, hey, let me give this thing a try?
Well, they should be looking for discontinued sports and racing games. A copy of Need for Speed Rivals for the PS4, the complete edition of it, not the normal edition. The normal edition is $20, selling for $20 or $15 or whatnot. But you can get copies of the complete edition for the same price, either $15 or $20 at Walmart. And I sent some in, and they sold yesterday or the day before for $49 a piece. Or there are other sports titles, like some of the older golf games, the Tiger. I thought that, Tiger Woods cheating on his wife and then getting hit with a 9-iron would kind of kill the whole recognition thing. But some of his video games, I've seen them, like there's this Masters edition of one of them that sells for like $90. If they're in the glass case, just use Flow to scan it, which is now integrated into both the Android and Apple versions.
I think there's a world that actually. Well, I know a lot of sellers that might not even know you. They're like, yeah, some guy had told us to use the Flow.
I've had that happen before. It's pretty funny. Or there's people like, yeah, I heard that one random podcast with Chris Wilkie last September.
Yep. I think he actually shouts you out though, but
yeah, he does.
The Flow.
But I mean, for all the videos in Periscope, I don't watch any of his Periscopes. So I'm not on Periscope. I see maybe 1 in every 4 of his live videos. Well, sometimes people tag me, but yeah, because I'm not usually up at 7. I'm not usually up at 7 a.m. I'm usually up around 8 or 9.
Yeah, he's an early bird, because I think that's when he has to go to school or some other work.
Yeah. He works a 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or something like that.
Yeah, the guy.
And he's an hour ahead also. I've been up a few times while he's live, but it's better than in Alaska where I had insomnia and I could never keep a sleep schedule for even a few days in a row. Actually,
let's talk about that, because I guess I would say a lot of people have no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about your experience in Alaska, what you did, what you learned, how much you did in Alaska?
Yeah, of course. Last year, I did $285,000 in gross sales from Alaska.
That's awesome.
I just killed it with Q4. I had a 60K Q4, not a Q4, a 60K December and like a 40K November. I just sold a massive amount of video games, mostly purchased through OA. But in Alaska, I didn't get the Amazon partnered shipping rates. So I was shipping things, and I didn't use any of this size. This actually, I think this might be a regional rate, but this here is like this is a regional rate. But I was using flat rate boxes, mostly larges and a few mediums. And a large flat rate box was running me $16, where all I was fitting in that was like media and various little small items. I did some books, and those were shipping via media mail, but a 50-pound box via media mail was $35.
Ooh. Okay.
Right. I can ship a 50-pound box to Joliet, Illinois, here in Eau Claire for $10. If it's not 50 pounds and it's just 18 by 18 by 24 with the dimensional weight, I'm paying $8. So I can ship 2 of those with the dimensional weight to Joliet, Illinois for the price of 1 large flat rate box, which would fit like 30 video games or so, it all depended on if they were the PS3, it all depended on the height. If it was the PS3 height game or the normal height game, with how I would wedge them in. which I had a system for that, and I love to have an even balance of them, but I never had an even balance.
Yeah. So now you were in Alaska, getting games sent to your house. Then you
No, they wouldn't even ship to my house. They'd ship to my parents' house, but when I got an apartment out in the boondocks, the postal service wouldn't deliver or pick up from my apartment. They would drive further out to the UPS store where I had a box at the UPS store, but they wouldn't deliver to my house.
So you're telling me you did 285 grand in sales, all being shipped to a UPS store that you had to go pick up, take to your house, process it, and then send it back.
Yeah, and then drive the 12 minutes into the post office.
Wow.
Yeah, which 12 minutes was actually a short distance to travel for stuff in Alaska.
Right.
I would drive an hour for groceries.
I'm kind of lost for words because the postman decided to go to UPS, which was 12 minutes from your house, to make you. You should have said, "Listen here, man. I'm doing you guys a service. I'm keeping you in business. You know, next time you go there, tell them that."
Like every single person off of I was living on, it's called off of Vine Road. They just didn't cover Vine Road. It was most of the roads that were off of it were dirt roads. It was just horribly slick in the winter. It just was too far out, and so we had to get PO boxes or UPS store boxes. There was actually on the south end of Vine, there was a private post office, it was a contract branch, and they went out of business due to they were forced out due to some poor metrics, which the folks at the UPS store loved that because they got a bunch of signups. Right. But otherwise, people that were there had to stand in line in the lobby of the post office sometimes for a half hour just to get their mail.
Yeah, but I'm glad you got out of there, man. Now yeah. The UPS man doesn't mind dropping stuff off directly at your door.
No, the UPS guy here, he's a nice guy. If I'm working in the garage and he has enough stuff that he doesn't deliver to my door, he delivers to the garage to pick up stuff. Otherwise, I drive to the UPS store and I'll bring a full minivan, like packed to the top of boxes. They don't care because they get money for the boxes and they have room in the back. Yeah. The folks that complain are the UPS drivers that pick up from the UPS store.
Gotcha.
And they told their boss or whoever, and he called me. He was like, "Hey, do you want to do like pick up from your garage?"
So they'd rather pick it up from your house.
I'm like, not really. I don't like having to wait around. Right. And he said, I'm not sure how it would work either. He's like, "Yeah, how are you buying your postage? Because you're like shipping a lot of stuff." Yeah. Like, I'm buying it through Amazon. He's like, "How cheap is that?" I'm like, I recited the same spiel I gave you. He's like, he wanted to learn about FBA. He wanted to learn about FBA too. So I'm like, well, if you're ever free, I mean, he said he'd pay for lunch, and I said I'd never turn down free food. So
sounds like a win-win to me.
Yeah, there's already a few sellers here in town, but none of them are very good given what I found at Walmart. They're not buying it. I mean, I'm beating him to it. And one of them, I thought he had told me he lived in Green Bay, and so I was giving him advice on making purchases.
Yeah.
Via Facebook, and then he's like, I'm like, "What story?" He's like, "Oh, the Eau Claire Walmart." I'm like, "Yeah, I can't help you out anymore."
Well, you're right there next to me, man. What's going on?
Yeah.
So now, do you do any wholesale?
Not really. I bought wholesale stuff off eBay, but that's about it. Where I've gone as deep as 250 copies of a video game. No, not 250. I paid $2.50 a unit, but I got 200 copies of that game. I bought 2 lots of 100.
Ooh. Now, I mean, what was your thought process in there? Because I know a lot of people are scared to go deep. Mm-hmm. We're talking 5 items, cool. But when you say 100 of
it's a continued Call of Duty game.
Okay.
Most of them have sold so far.
So you still have that? You still have that in stock?
Yeah. I'm waiting for a lowballer to sell out.
Yep.
But yeah, someone priced at my break-even point, and I'm like, "Yeah, you have 20 copies. I have more than that. You can sell out. I'm in no hurry. I only have $2.50 into each unit."
Gotcha.
So ultimately,
what would you say is? Do you say it's all about the buy in RA?
What?
The buy. You know, some people say you make your money when you buy.
No, you make your money when you sell.
That's what I say. Well, they say a lot of people say, you make your money when you buy. If you buy right.
Inventory doesn't pay my electric bill.
Amen, brother. I'm with you. I am with you. So, what would you say your 80/20 is? 20% of what you do counts for 80%, of the effect. What do you think for you is your 80/20 in your process?
If you're talking about actual monetary sales right now,
right?
It's like the high end stuff. Well, it's not the high end, but I don't know. It's more of like a 60/40. 60% of my sales are coming from like 40% of what I'm actually doing, like with the big stuff from Walmart.
Okay.
Like those external hard drives, the video games, things that I'm selling for $50, $60, $80, $100.
Right.
Some stuff I'm selling for even more than $100, and I've been getting it for $30 at Walmart.
So now, do you feel as though you're taking more of a risk when you're selling that $100 item, that $90 item, that you'll get a return more than the $20 item?
It's likely. I got a return on one of the speakers that I was selling. It's on my kitchen table, but it's a JBL Flip 2 speaker, and it was just, I may just keep it. I mean, it's a nice, expensive speaker.
So now, typically, what would you do? I know you let's say you have two of them. You don't need two speakers, man. You can't.
I'd sell the second on Mercari.
Okay, so you sell it as used.
Yeah. Wrap it in bubble wrap, put it in a flat rate padded envelope for $6.
Yeah.
Sell for $50, $60.
Gotcha. Now, do you use Joe Lister?
I used it a little bit back in Q4, back in December, but no, I've heard I did fine. I did well with it. Not like Joey B, who he just bought a video game for $20 on eBay, sent it into Amazon, and then sold it for $50.
So I guess we should have told a lot of people out here your niche, or what you primarily do, is the eBay thing. So I guess you can tell us a little bit more about how you buy from eBay, flip to Amazon.
Well, what I do with eBay is, unless I'm looking at wholesale things, like wholesale lots, just a bunch of random assortments, or some assortments are completely random, like the whole cell phone cases, which that's a discussion for another day. But but I use OA X-ray for most of it, which, if you're not familiar with OA X-ray, it costs $99 a month. But what it does is it takes all the information on a page from eBay, and in like 3 minutes, it analyzes every single product compared to Amazon. If it has a UPC, it just looks up the UPC. It'll tell you the return on investment, if it's positive or negative or whatnot, and you can have it so it automatically filters out anything that doesn't meet certain criteria. If there isn't a UPC, it can guess the ASIN from Amazon, and it guesses it probably about 50% of the time correctly, just based upon the title of the item. And so with that, I'm able to sift through a massive amount of data in a very short period of time.
Gotcha.
And so, with that, then what I can do is, if I find one item that's profitable, it may be profitable from other sellers, or there may be other profitable items from that same seller.
So then you would, I guess, OA X-ray a whole seller now.
Exactly, or at least certain categories from the seller, and then I'll adjust the My Buys, which the My Buys are what I have automatically set up to show me only meeting certain things. Like when I'm dealing with video games, I only want to see things ranked under 25,000 with a return on investment of at least 50% and a net profit of $5 per item.
Gotcha. So in OA X-ray, you can set all of that up.
Yeah, it's really, really simple.
Gotcha.
I mean, it looks complex, but a person can learn how to use it in an hour.
And you can teach them that.
Yeah, I sell coaching services with eBay. I just did the first 2 of them last night. Just an intro to sourcing on eBay, primarily with OA X-ray. And then I'm also doing an advanced course where I go over things like using the link banks, auctions, and whatnot. The link banks are a new feature where you can take, if you copy into Google Doc or a Microsoft Word document or something, multiple links, you can have it to OA X-ray. We'll run all of them, and you can do so every so often or whatnot, whenever you want to. Like I I have certain ones that I'll run a couple times a week, so I'm always getting fresh data.
Gotcha.
And then I can do things
You
over
say
time.
link bank as far as, let's say you'll go into eBay and then you'll take the link from, I guess, the search bar.
Yeah, from the search page, from the address bar, I just take that, and then I'll run 5 of them for eBay at a time. You can run more, but you need a really, really high horsepower computer to do more than 5.
So that runs consistently in the background. You'll set it up whereas though you'll run that link, like you said, what, once a week?
Yeah, you just have to manually copy and paste them in, and then hit the button to parse it, and then it'll do everything for you. And then you just have to manually analyze what it gives you.
Right. Okay, cool. Now,
But
have you ever thought about hiring a VA or something like that?
I've given it a little bit of thought, but honestly, I enjoy sourcing online. It's fun. It would be something that I may do in the future, possibly through folks such as 24/7 VA, given that they've already vetted the VAs and make sure that they know how to do what they're doing.
Yep. Okay.
I know you're using them, aren't you?
Yeah, it was until I actually switched over to PL. I literally dropped like everything. I'm just
Okay.
all hands on deck in this PL thing.
You got to go hit. You got to go hit a Walmart every once in a while.
I'm so tempted. I'm out with my girlfriend. I might scan something, and I'm like, all right, no. and literally, I got all hands on deck because she said, "Hey, Darrell, you know what? You always hop from thing to thing to thing."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? I gotta prove you wrong. I'm gonna do this PL thing, and then once it sticks,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, look, I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in your face. In your face. That's one of those things.
Even folks like Andy Slamans, who he's like the godfather of PL, he still does OA and RA, at least during Q4.
Q4, it might be like we all break the rules, my God.
Yeah, we all break the rules.
We all break them. Yeah, Q4 is so tempting. Literally, I think Q4, if you aren't selling, you need to be selling.
Exactly.
I was in Target one time randomly. I've overheard a conversation where it was like it was an old lady and I'm guessing her daughter, and she was like, "Yeah, I brought this toy, and I wind up selling it on Amazon." And literally, I mean, I could tell she wasn't like a seller, but she just couldn't believe. It's like, "Yeah, I sold the thing on Amazon. It was selling higher on Amazon than in the store."
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she really connected it to where she can consistently, do that. Q4 is a madhouse. So I guess you would say, for anyone watching this, they still would have a chance to prepare for Q4. What would you say are the essentials to get yourself ready for Q4?
The thing with there are 2 big things with Q4. First is money, and the second is knowledge. That's all there really is. Knowledge of how products work, and then to know that during Q4 things go crazy fast. Q4 is a big deal. It is a massive deal for me. I mean, Q4 is when I'm hoping to come up with the cash for the down payment on a house this year. But if it's your first or second Q4, I mean, it's not life or death. And then the second thing is cash. You want a lot of cash because there's a lot of profitable inventory out there that during other parts of the year is not profitable.
Okay.
Like last year, Madden 25 was selling for $45 with FBA. It was selling, and it was 2 years old. So I was buying as many copies as I could at Target, Fred Meyer, eBay. And I mean, it just sounds really weird, but the game was 2 years old, and it was selling for more than the current year's title. So if you're just getting started, all I can recommend is start building your bankroll now. I mean, credit is one thing, but I mean, I maxed out all the credit options that I had last year during Q4, and I was doing stuff with cash. I had over $20,000 spent on various credit options, and now so far this year, with the addition of an Amex Gold business card and the fact that I spent so much money and then paid it off because that was all with personal credit last year. Now I have access to about $50,000 in credit, but I want to have cash. So
Right.
I can either pay off the credit card and go spend more, or so I can just source some more. It's all about having a nice bankroll. I mean, having a big fat wad of money. Not literally, because that's going to get you mugged. But
guys coming in Walmart and Target with 20 grand in cash.
yeah, I'd rather use this for that.
Yeah, It'll work in those stores.
Yeah, yeah.
So now, do you have any mom and pop stores that you shop at, or what's your thoughts on that? Just going up.
Not currently. For RA, all I've been hitting lately has been Menards and Walmart.
Gotcha.
Menards it's like Home Depot or Lowe's, but it's just a Midwest thing. I think they range from South Dakota to Ohio, but they are literally based here in Eau Claire. There are two within like 4 miles of my house.
So now, are you taking that same strategy as far as, hey, I want to see everything you guys have on clearance?
No, no. I just randomly, because just like Walmart, they'll have stuff just randomly in the aisles. So I'll just walk through the majority of the store. And it's also where I buy my boxes at.
Gotcha. Makes sense, right? Kill two birds with one stone.
But they have a current thing right now where they have an 11% rebate on everything in the store.
Okay.
And I spent like $300 the other day, plus $60 on boxes. So that's like $40 just free money.
That's true. So you combine rebates with your purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know
rebates on products too. Some products will have, buy it, get a $10 mail-in rebate just with the random items.
Right.
So it really adds up with Menards.
So now, what's your strategy once Uncle Sam comes knocking on the door, man?
Here are all my receipts. Here's the spreadsheet. If you want to verify them, here's a big, massive box.
So you're just gonna say, "Huh? Check it."
Yeah.
Get on my face.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be using an accountant this year, so.
Yeah.
But last year I just had a sole proprietorship, and on the 2nd of January, I stayed up all night and added up everything, like all 1,700 transactions I did on eBay, all of my receipts, added it all up, and then TurboTax or whatever I use is like, yeah, you can't actually file yet because not all the forms that we need to file for you are ready. They hadn't gotten all the forms yet, so. And then I actually hit the send button like 5 days before it was due. But I just wanted to get an idea of, hey, how much money am I going to owe Uncle Sam?
Right. Definitely. Well, this year you can get ahead of that.
And then I went and spent that money on moving. Because I had the amount that I owed Uncle Sam in cash at the time, and I just hustled once I got here.
Yep. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm trying to see, I guess, what's the long term for you? Do you feel as though you can sustain through RA and OA, or do you feel as though that you're going to eventually have to adapt your business model?
I'm sure things will change. There's always changes to the policies in terms of service and whatnot. But my goal is to purchase a house. Once I purchase a house, all I'm going to have to pay for is, and also with vehicles, I always want to pay cash for a vehicle.
Yeah.
But once I have my house bought, all I'll have to take care of is keeping the lights on, keeping the water running, keeping me and my family fed, keeping gas and insurance on the vehicles. And I mean, once I have a house purchased, me living alone, I mean, I could support myself on less than $1,000 and I could live really comfortably. So, but I'm hoping before then, hoping before I have my house paid off that I'll be a married man and have a family. But right now, I'm just living the bachelor life. But it's a good life, but I want to get married. But ultimately, I just want to pick things up. I want to be able to hit more stores, do more stuff online. Like a guy sent me a list because I had helped him and given him advice. He sent me this list his VA had made over the last 2 months of over 300 items. And I've just been cherry picking it. And I never thought I'd be spending money with Foot Locker or REI or the Pampered Chef.
Right.
And these were all compiled by a VA. So if anything, I'm going to get a VA that knows how to look at just random sites. It'll probably be through 24/7 VA. But I'll have them looking at places that I'm not very familiar with, right, or that I haven't yet become familiar with. For OA, and with RA, I'm looking at doing a lot of road trips. As long as I'm single, my plan, once I get a good vehicle for doing it, is to spend 3 or 4 or 5 months out of the year on the road, sourcing inventory. And it probably won't be just with Walmart like I'm doing right now. Meijer is starting to get into Wisconsin, and they're all over the Midwest now. And I just want to sharpen my skills with different stores. I've got my skills really sharp with Walmart, and now I'm working on Menards, and I want to work on other stores too with sharpening my skills.
Gotcha.
And with that, I can always stay ahead of everyone else. Because while people are looking at the Target clearance, I can be over at Meijer. Or if people are at Meijer, I can be, focusing on Menards or whatnot.
Now, what's your thoughts on? I know it's I think it's a guy, Ryan Grant. He scaled up his RA OA business. Any thoughts on that for you? Such as, say, you may go to the neighboring state and find a guy who needs a job, and you pretty much teach him everything you know, and you hire him. What are your thoughts on scaling your business up?
I don't like that. It just I'm not a big fan of that.
Okay.
No, I'd rather teach the guy to work for himself.
Gotcha.
I have a friend that I met on the internet that drove up 9 hours from Indiana a couple weekends ago, and he was completely new to Amazon, and I showed him how to source on Amazon with OA and RA. We went to like 7 Walmarts. We drove 300 miles. We filled my minivan. It's fun. It was fun, and it's always with RA. If you're on a road trip, you can totally do them yourself, but it's always nice to have someone else there to run and push a cart, grab another cart if you need it. Because yeah, the last Walmart we hit, I bought 8 Bluetooth sound systems, and they had like a special tall cart that they used to push them out, in addition to other stuff we had bought.
Jeez.
Yeah, they had a cart pusher do it.
So now when you go into a Walmart, I guess for let's say for that item, you aren't actually going online, or are you going online and saying, okay, I'm hitting this Walmart, let me analyze it through the internet first, so when I check in, I already know what I want to buy?
No. Every Walmart, it's random stuff. I mean, I'm dealing mostly with discontinued video games and just clearance items. The more boring the item is, the better. I mean, some of my best sellers from Walmart have been things like coffee makers and garden chemicals.
Gotcha.
Boring is good because everyone scans the toys.
Right. Especially Q4, it's going to be a toy mania.
Yeah. But people also give coffee makers in Q4. I mean, in December.
That's true.
Give the gift of coffee.
Coffee is the gift of life in my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm actually they have some nice coffee.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I've been actually tinkering with, once my Spanish gets well, it's called like the coffee triangle. So it's where they source like 80% of the coffee there. Some coffee. I want to go over there and see, okay, what's my taste buds like? See if I can hook up with the supplier, send you a bag, and if I can get your approval, I know it's grade A.
Okay. Well, I'll just drink anything black, pretty much. I've been drinking Black Death Wish lately.
I'm gonna stop the broadcast since we kind of off.